Welcome to Potsdam. It was the home of the Prussian emperors. It was the home of Kaiser Wilhelm until 1918. Hermann Goering was once the governor of this region, and remember Goering said, if the RAF ever get to Berlin, you can call me Meyer. Wonder how that turned out for him. 80% of the city was destroyed during the war, but it was rebuilt. It was here in 1945, in Potsdam, that Churchill, Stalin and Truman signed the agreement that divided up Europe after the war. It's full of palaces, parks and rivers. Come with us while we explore this interesting city.
We've pulled up on another Stellplatz. This one is €15 a night, no electric hookup, but it does have toilet emptying facilities, fresh water at 10 cents for 10 litres, which isn't too bad. Not that we need any water actually, but it's there. And it's basically an old bus depot. A 15-minute walk from the Stellplatz and you'll find yourself immersed in 200 years of Prussian history. We're going to take you on a tour of the palaces and parks that stand out around Potsdam as a must-see place to go and visit. The palaces and their gardens are a beautiful example of landscape design. They're carefully planned and planted and feature a variety of different styles, including formal gardens, English gardens and even a Chinese garden.
We're in the grounds of the Sanssouci Palace. It's free to walk around the grounds. You can run, you can walk, you can jog. The only entrance fee is €15, which is for the main palace. Three days into this trip, how many photographs have you taken?
I've no idea. Hundreds.
Hundreds, I know.
Hundreds.
I know. The weather's gone a little bit Yorkshire on us today. Over here is our brolly. Purchased this time last year. Oh no, 3 years ago in San Marino. If this brolly makes it home with us today, it'll be a minor miracle.
I'll fix it if need be. I'm from Yorkshire, I don't just cast anything off.
No, we'll leave it somewhere, that's what I mean. We'll have abandoned it somewhere.
I've got a little bit of sticky back plastic and a few bits and bobs and tie wraps, so I'll make it work a bit longer yet.
The palace and grounds at Sanssouci are the largest UNESCO heritage site, and you can see why. It's immense. You could spend a full day here just exploring the grounds and the palaces. This is the Schloss Sanssouci. It was built by Frederick II as his summer retreat, and he wanted it to be a place where he came to have no worries. Hence the name Sanssouci, which is the French for no worries. He's actually buried in the grounds, and he chose this location because he wanted to be next to his beloved greyhounds. This is Potsdam's version of the Brandenburg Gate, and this is one of the main squares.
The main street in Potsdam city centre is called Brandenburger Strasse, and as we walk down it now you can see it's a pedestrian-only street that runs from the Brandenburger Tor to the Lucian Palace. The street is lined with shops, restaurants and cafes. It is a popular tourist destination and a great place to people watch and soak up the atmosphere of Potsdam. Along this street you can browse the shops and boutiques for souvenirs and gifts, enjoy a meal at any one of the restaurants that are down here. We found them to be very dog friendly also. As you walk through these streets, you can't help but be impressed by the design of them and the build of them. And they were built up predominantly during the DDR times, where this was the headquarters of a lot of the East German government buildings and where a lot of the main departments of government resided. But as you walk through here, you end up coming to the tram stop. Why that's important is because you can catch the tram to Berlin from here. It's on the end of the line, but 40 minutes later, you'll be in Berlin, which means that you could stay on the Stellplatz here and cover Potsdam and Berlin from here without having to go into the emission zone. We did go into Berlin, which we were quite happy about, but that's for another story.
There's a lot of work going on in and around Potsdam, and this is a panoramic view on one of the surrounds of the building work that shows you what it's going to look like. And this is actually, looking at it, the little Dutch quarter of the city. It's got some fantastic buildings, just that it's all sort of cordoned off because of the amount of work that we're doing. And I think you can just see peeking here is the top of the St Nicholas Church. And for a fee of €5 on a better day, you can climb to the top and get a great view of Potsdam. The location of this lunch, the Garage du Pont, if you speak a little bit of French, although we're in Germany, is a clue to the next location on our tour of Potsdam.
Food looks great as well.
The food is lovely. I think it's phyllo pastry with cheese, salmon and a few veggies, and it tastes fantastic. Behind me is the very famous Glenicke Bridge. The road links Potsdam to Berlin and it spans the river Havel. It was made famous during the Cold War because it's where the exchange of spies took place. The very first exchange was between Rudolf Abel, that was a captured Soviet spy, and Francis Gary Powers, the famous U-2 spy plane American pilot that was shot down. Made famous in the film starring Tom Hanks, The Bridge of Spies. We're actually standing in what would have been East Germany, and in August 1961 the East German government sealed off the border here to West Germany. Over 144 people lost their lives trying to cross the border, and it was bordered and it was cut off from the rest of the West. It remained like that until November 1989.
Most of the big houses on this beautiful lake were either built or occupied during the East German government years and owned by government or high-ranking members of the Communist Party. After the fall of Berlin Wall in 1989, many of these houses were sold to private individuals, but some of the houses were renovated and turned into apartments or hotels, while others were abandoned, fell into disrepair. But today there's a mix of privately owned and government-owned houses at the Lake of Potsdam. So, our latest challenge.
Yes, filling up the tank with 100 litres of water. So, as at Bremen, it's 10 cents per 10 litres of water. So obviously €1 for 100 litres. So in my pidgin German, I've worked out that you put the money in, and then this button here should start and stop the water supply. But we'll give it a go. Might end up with wet feet.
Everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
You seem, yeah.
That's it, we're off.
There she goes. It looks like she's letting us out, but we'll see.
So I've paid the relevant fee, which was €30 for the 2 nights, and then you just take your ticket that it's given you back and you put it into the machine. And hopefully that has released the barrier and we can go. Yeah, and Martin can drive through.
better.
Is that-
It's German. Of
It's German, of course it works well.
course it works better.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
Well, that's the easiest system and the most secure system I've used on the LPG. Sometimes you get a little bit of movement around the nozzle, even in the UK sometimes, but that's the most secure. And so you can request my lovely assistant who is pressing the button.
The only lesson to learn from this is you have to do it quickly.
Okay, done. Well, that's €11 for a full tank, so that's not too bad. So that was it, fueled up, gassed up, and a fridge full of food, and we're off to Berlin for some rock and roll. Martin out.
Helen out.